Asador Gaming, Dragon of Dojima, the Twitter account user who reports on, gaming news and stuff, posted an article about Diablo having made about $1 billion in revenue and over 150 million in microtransactions alone. Before you start asking me questions, you guys know that the environment and the kind of, scenario that we're in is that everybody is paying very close attention to what Xbox and PlayStation are doing. Because of the PlayStation fans, they polarized the whole argument. So now everyone is looking at everything with a fine tooth and comb, especially seeing how everybody was paying very close attention to the Activision, acquisition. That also kind of conditioned people to now keep paying more attention into gaming news as something somewhat important. Even investors like Warren Buffett, who would probably never have cared much about, a lot of what this gaming scene was looking like, started taking a look. And so, hey, here we are. I wish this article, though, that actually, is being cited in this particular video and even from this tweet, I wish they were a little bit more precise because even though they write, Blizzard reveals how much money players spent on microtransactions in Diablo 4, sales revenue has already exceeded $1 billion. They're getting these details from a Blizzard Entertainment senior product manager on Diablo 4's LinkedIn profile. So again, we know that this number is probably, on a plus side in terms of the revenue. And this is not profits, by the way, this is revenue, and about 15% on microtransactions. So again, this is one of those things where the whole Activision acquisition and the purchase, which was actually done to give Xbox a little bit more in terms of profitability, is continuing to pay off. And there's no one who thinks otherwise that it's not going to pay off. I mean, you got to be crazy to think so. Now, what's really interesting and contrasting in today's news is not only that, but there are conversations that possibly Marathon is going to be requiring a $40 launch price when the game comes out. Now, this is also based on, information that is, pretty much coming from sources. And I think this might be one of those test and feel type things. Concord hit a roadblock, and one of its, or hit multiple roadblocks. And I'm certain that one of them was simply because it had a price tag of $40 in a plethora of hero shooters. And I'm sure people are yelling, no, Concord is not a hero shooter, and so on and so forth. So this article writes multiple sources tell the game post that Bungie is considering a $40 launch price for Marathon, its upcoming PvP extraction shooter. They're also saying that it's been over a year since they announced their Destiny, and then the price tag for Marathon, opting for a pay-to-play premium model rather than following a free-to-play model seen in many modern shooters. The Division is a fully priced shooter, and its audience and its community are not expecting it to not be. At the end of the day, I think it's just the value of the content they bring in. However, the Division comes in with, hours and hours of content over, if I were to think about your basic level progression to get to end game, you will do about 20-ish hours minimum if you're playing a game like Tom Clancy's The Division. So is Marathon going to have that kind of a, Bungie level, massive Ubisoft level, gameplay and, single player progression that comes with it, or, single player / co-op or multiplayer or whatever it is? If it's going to have it, then the $40 price tag might be one that, makes sense. However, the $40 price tag also clues me into the possibility that this might not be a thing, of which, if we go back and compare and see the games that are that are doing decently well, Diablo is one of the games that does have something like that. So again, I think PlayStation needs to recalibrate its expectations in coming into this market. They cannot come from the perspective of using pure, unadulterated, money farming eye lenses, because they will definitely bomb. There is no doubt about that people are going to look at it and say, why? When Apex is free, when Fortnite is free. And even coming on the forefront saying, oh yeah, this is a shooter on the forefront is also something that they're also making a mistake. And I say this, and it's crazy, you're coming up with an extraction shooter. I mean, look at the way it's even described. They're actually pointing out that it's like Escape from Tarkov, but with a Bungie twist to it. What does that even have to do with anything? Escape from Tarkov came out in a time where these extraction shooters, in a sense, were not necessarily huge. The Division was the big name, but with an extraction shooter that was in the RPG genre, so it wasn't really a big deal. There were some, I don't really know many of them, and so I might be ignorant here, but somebody help me out. I wasn't playing them. I never touched Tarkov, won't touch Tarkov. But if you kind of think about it, I think this is probably where they're making another mistake. They need to come out with a game that justifies a full price. And then the PvP side is where they then take off and eventually start to expand upon, just like they did with Destiny. The Destiny formula can work if done properly. Now, yes, it will put them in a place where they're managing 2 games, but again, that's exactly what's going to bring people into the game itself. Trying to come in and say, oh, we're going to actually go ahead and we're going to, do something of this nature without having a proposition that justifies the price point in a market, and keep me clear on this, in a market that has a lot of other shooters that are free, is going to be challenging. I don't know how they're going to pull this live service thing off, man. I think PlayStation has basically kicked off on the wrong footing. I mean, when you also add all the different challenges and all the different aspects of, say, even their games like Helldivers 2 that did well, was pretty much because of a fluke in a sense, because they do negate hundreds of countries that don't have PlayStation Plus from their games. So how are they going to do this one? I guess Bungie is going to basically be able to get that, that wider reach if they don't require a PlayStation account. But if they go and dare require a PlayStation account, that might turn some PC players off. And PC is where a lot of, this game's revenue is going to come from. We know from the data. Shall we cite the data again? Because we know exactly who's playing what. And the facts are that PlayStation fans are busy, playing Call of Duty. And again, which lends another, I would say another direction to what Microsoft has done in terms of the PvP and the live service area. They own it now. Like, they own it now. Sony can't come close. This is just Diablo basically pulling in, this amount of money on a low conservative, in my opinion. Can you imagine what else they're going to be doing in terms of, revenue when it comes to actually trying to see Bungie try to break into the market with a second title that doesn't have the Activision marketing budget to imprint that name on people's minds, which is basically what they did with Destiny. So I think this approach is really going to, face a huge test. But time is going to tell. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, guys. These are just my thoughts. I don't know how things are going to shape up, but it's going to be very interesting overall. Thanks so much for watching the video. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.